Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. The things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and the medications are hard to pronounce. So please bear with me.
Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
Topamax didn't work. Med number 22 down the drain, and here comes number 23. But last night was the first night for bumping up my dose to 100 milligrams, and holy hell, it turned me into a pacing mess. About an hour and a half after I took it, repetitive movements and closed-eyed neon visuals, not fun in the slightest. I've got the best luck with these meds. Any advice? And then the person, he said, this is my best guess as what I was experiencing. My phone screen would stay in my vision after I closed my eyes, but would last for 1 minute instead of seconds. And then there's helipanopsia or panospia. This is a visual symptom where an image persists or reoccurs after it's removed, and it can be triggered by Topamax. This person needs you guys' advice.
I have this, but I do want to just field the question to anybody else because I've answered quite a few questions. So if anybody who hasn't spoken, please raise your hand.
I have medication resistant stuff, and I've gone through like 14 failed meds or more, but I don't have an answer to this, I don't think. I'm sorry.
Are they asking, like, can you sum up the question again? I'm sorry.
They were just asking for advice. They explained their situation and then asked for advice.
But their situation is like they're med resistant?
I guess it was the med that works.
It sounds like the side
makes
effects.
them really nervous. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
And that visual side effect.
Okay.
So
it's
something
just
about being able to see, like, I mean, it sounded like hallucinations, but it's definitely not something that I've experienced before. But either way, when you're taking medication and you're suffering from a severe side effect, then
yeah,
that has to be addressed. Yeah, go ahead.
I would take into like play anything that you have prior to the medication, like any mental health diagnoses or any physical health diagnoses that could possibly alter with like how you're presenting throughout the day. And like for me, if I lack sleep, I start to hallucinate. I just know that as a fact, that it's just how it is for me, regardless if I'm on meds or if I'm not on meds. That's just a fact. So I think really targeting those little specific things in your life, even if they seem small, like even if it's different foods. I know it seems unrelated to the question, but it is kind of at the same time. If you kind of taking a big step in taking over your diagnosis and taking control of it is finding all the little stuff that the doctors aren't going to point out for you. Like they're not going to tell you that this specific juice is why this makes you feel this way. Like they're not going to go through, it's just not realistic. So you have to take that time to kind of be doctor for yourself in those ways and figure those things out, and maybe switching medications if they really feel like it's the medication would be a really good idea, because hallucinations aren't the most fun thing. Even if they are just fun little gnomes, they're not super fun all the time. If no one else can see them, everyone thinks that you're a little nuts.
One of my failed meds, I used to get patterns. Like I could close my eyes and I would have the most intricate patterns just like flowing across it. And I just had to eventually tell my doctor that I'm sorry. Like, obviously it's not working anyway, but the side effect, I can't deal with that. I wish I could remember which one it was, honestly. But did they say which medication they're on, Pookie?
No, they
Turbomax.
just said Tobamax didn't work. Down the
Just,
drain, and here comes number 23.
and
I'll
they
read it
don't,
over again. It
and they
says,
don't tell us what it is,
nope.
right?
I
Nope.
have
Okay.
they should get a DNA test, like a genetic test done to see what medications their body responds to best, because I know I had that done for mental health purposes, and it was a big reason why I wasn't responding to 98% of the medications. So if that's available for them, I would definitely highlight on getting a test done to see what best works for your body and your dynamics.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I did want to jump in just because I'm trying to remember what they described, but I do have fucking hallucinations. When I closed my eyes, and I think they said some word about eyelid something. I've been in therapy throughout my life, and even before I mentioned seizures, just because of the pattern, therapists were like, you need sleep. Like Lufa said, like I couldn't get a diagnosis. I was begging for like bipolar disorder for a long time. For a little while, I considered going on antipsychotics. That's what I wanted to bring up. I talked to somebody else with similar symptoms who has occipital parietal seizures, which showed up on mine. Hey, no licking. What was I saying? Sorry,
Occipital
guys.
parietal seizures, psycho,
Yes,
antipsychotics.
thank you. So the EMU called the hallucinations seizures. Bless you. And you can also get post-ictal psychosis because of that, because you can't figure it out. It keeps you up at night. And you can sometimes take a low dose of antipsychotics if you're having that or you wonder. And it can make it go away, but usually don't stay on them. And again, this person might have had those before, not know some. Oh, they also could be migraines. So you might want to get that checked out. Okay.
Yeah, I've had migraines most of my life too, so there you go. Good point.
Yeah, ocular migraines are a thing. Not every form of migraine is the big splitting headache that people think of when they hear the word. So, yeah.
Most of my, like this morning after my I don't know what time I had my tonic-clonic seizure, but I'm assuming I had 2 last night. But I woke up and it took about 3 to 4 hours for the headache. Like just like this, like I feel like just someone's hit me with a truck a million times, and it took a long time. And there's just like nothing you can do to get rid of that until it just goes away, and that's the worst part.
Well, that's the
But
crazy part about yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're fine.
Oh, it was just what you said about like before it goes away. That's what's weird about this palinopsa thing is that it sounds like it's a hallucination that doesn't end even after the trigger, the stimulus has been addressed, taken care of. So that's definitely worse than a hallucination because you don't know when it's going to go away. But I guess if the hallucination is a side effect of the medication, then did you guys hallucinate as long as the meds were in your system? So like a good 12 hours?
I
I don't
didn't
know about that.
hallucinate on medication. I was already doing it. I just noticed it more afterwards because a lot of the other stuff was cleared up. And you
Yeah.
said a long word that starts with P, and that is I think an occipital. There's 2 types you can have. They often start in childhood. And I forgot the question, but I would address your epilepsy first. This is what my therapist told me. Get your seizures under control. And I mean, I don't disagree with what anybody has already done, because your mental health is very important. And if that's working, keep doing it. I was just advised to get my seizures under control first, because that can often help a lot of what what you think is a mental issue, but is actually like a pattern of like post-ictal or just part of your seizures. Also, the med they're on might be causing new kinds of seizures. So that's all.
Lamotrigine was causing seizures, more myoclonic seizures, and even generalized seizures for me. So it can always be the medication as well.
Yeah, that's why I'm hesitant to try anything else. That's for sure. I almost don't even want to tell the neurologist what's going on a lot of times when you go back to the appointment, because you feel like that's that never-ending cycle of, okay, you don't like this one, let's try this one, and best of luck. They never go into possible side effects or
And I always
warning of.
Yeah, and I always save like my old meds just in case, like that old bottle just in case, like, which is, they say to discard, but sometimes just to keep yourself safe, like I have my meds that I know work, like the Keppra, I know it works to stop my seizures, which is why like I'm a little frustrated that I had a seizure last night, but I am taking into accountability that it was almost 100 degrees out and humid and raining and hot, and we're moving the cats and we're going up 14 flights of stairs up and down heavy objects. So
Do you
I
guys
gotta
feel like you
take.
always have to come up with a reason for the seizure, though? That's what frustrates me,
I
that I
know. That's
can't
very
stand when
true,
it
though.
happens. It's
I
never
know.
convenient. I'm on everything I'm supposed to be, but these seizures are still happening and they're fucking
Yeah.
everything up at the worst
Well, and
time. Like, why?
sometimes it's like I had a great day and then I just seizure. Like sometimes I'm just chilling watching a movie, seizure. Nothing has like it's the same movie I've watched a million times. It's Coraline. I know every inch of the movie, every line, everything. Seizure. Okay, thanks. So there's no safety anything. There's no safety net. It's just seizure.
Katie, I would agree that I constantly feel like I have to come up with a reason, because they pump me for it. They're like, what did you do different? Did you eat? Did you sleep? What did you eat? How often? What, were you late with your meds?
If you don't
It's,
come up with a reason, then you are to blame.
yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
summary of it. Yes.
And even if I do come up with a reason, I'm still to blame because I'm the
Obviously.
adult.
Because it's your
And missing
body.
some like family milestone, oh, just unacceptable. Yeah, that's
You were too stressed out as a kid. It's your fault.
you know.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Annie has her hand up too. I haven't heard from her in a bit.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you guys.
I'm just wondering, I know for me, some of us don't have triggers or auras. Like we haven't recognized our triggers. I can't say we because I have to make an I statement. I have. And I wonder if for those of us who recognize our triggers and have auras, do we feel a little bit more that we have to justify that say, yeah, this happened because, and then I know personally I have to deal with the shame of, well, then why did you do that? And like you said, I wanted to be here at this birthday party. I wanted to be here at this graduation. So I had the seizure at home and not in the auditorium. I'm grateful for that. But things like that, I know it's going to happen. And I still can't get my family to level up and say, okay, it's not your fault. We know this could happen. I'm so, so grateful that Tom has that. And he expresses that, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we all know. It's like, okay, I have epilepsy. I'm going to have seizures. That's just a fact. And I feel kind of, I don't know, maybe we just feel we need to validate it more because maybe I know I feel a little bit more responsibility when I know my triggers, and I just ran a mower at full throttle around a half acre before this little tornado watch just came here. But yeah, you know, I pushed it a little too hard. Am I expecting a seizure? Yeah, because yeah, I am.
Well, you should get a bottle of water right now. You will be muted until, okay, good, just making sure.
I will go
I think the
fill my
seizures are
Yeti.
always in the back of
Cheers.
our mind, though, for even those who don't know their triggers and stuff or their auras. It's always in the back of our mind, like somewhere, like I'm going to have a seizure. I'm going to have a seizure, even though we're not directly thinking about it, you know?
That silent stalker thing that Em said
Yeah.
is coming to mind. It sounds like what Angel's describing.
I also feel like as a 49-year-old, I have like an expectation to be healthier than people who are older than me. And since I'm like we were moving yesterday and my mom's friend, not targeting me or anything, just like a regular thing people say, like, oh, I wish I was younger. But I kind of like that kind of just like sat in my mind for a minute because I was like, well, I am younger, but I kind of just wish I was healthier because like you guys are still getting a lot more done than I am. So I feel like too, as if you're younger and you have a chronic illness, or you're a parent and you have a chronic illness, you have this automatic expectation of like you have to be healthier though. Like that shouldn't have set you off though, or you can't be like it just I don't know, like sometimes
And when they say that,
when
it's like insinuating that you did it to yourself.
yeah, or like I'm making it worse than it is, or I'm just doing it for attention. Like that's the same one over and over again. Always doing it for attention, and it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. My body's doing it. You're making it seem like I'm doing it for attention. It's a chronic illness, and we're all just suffering from it at this point because you guys are failing to help us.
I love how you said that, failing to help us. Perfect way to put it.
Yes. Ooh, you got
That's
a
like what they
question
said
there,
in the Chronicles today. Go ahead.
Sorry. You wanted to make another point.
It's something Pookie just said reminded me of what they said in the Brainstorm Chronicles today, like all the best lines that she wrote into that story of you know how it's failing to help us and the medications just don't do it, and something about stuck in it. I know it's in the comments. Go ahead. Did somebody else have something to say?
I just wanted to say, Lufa, that it's not personal. All old people feel that way. It's not that they're blaming you. It's that they don't understand. And things that they don't understand or people my age and older don't understand scare them. That's all it is. Nobody's blaming you. Maybe doctors, but that's, a whole different breed of asshole. But nobody's really blaming you.
No, and it's funny because if they were to take a moment to step back and kind of understand, they would realize that they do understand what I'm going through. Like, we have a lot of the similar symptoms. I know my grandpa and I we have this similar, like our head, our minds, our memory are the same. Like, he's in his 80s, I am in my 20s, and he understands me, and we work well together because we both are like two demented old people. So it is what it is. I think it's just more of if the other person is willing to be understanding. And like you said, a lot of people are scared of that, and a lot of people don't want to admit that. And that's okay. There's nothing that I can do in the long run to really change them if they don't want to be changed, if they don't want to understand.
Exactly.
There you go. That's how you look at it. So this article apparently. Go ahead.
Oh, Sailor Mom had her hand up.
Yeah, please.
I was just gonna say, yeah, even if they understand, even if they're people that are in your lives all the time and they take care of you most of the time, sometimes they could just get overwhelmed or irritated or annoyed with just the constantness of it. I must say. And sometimes they'll say something not nice or they'll react badly. So yeah, it's something we all have to deal with, even if we have a good support system, I think. Okay, I'm quiet.
There we go. So this article about a computer. Okay, I guess what they're trying to say is that they've developed what the article says is the headline is lab grown mini brain given epilepsy drug learns in real time. So they do show one picture of what looks like a couple external hard drives on a tray, and apparently the medical device basically on like the hard drive looking thing over to the left is probably where they put in the stimuli just to mess with it. And I guess that's what they're trying to say is the research. How these hard drives, these portions of the brain of what they're comparing to the brain, can self-regulate, they can adjust. So I guess when they give it like bursts of activity, they're saying only carbamazepine, for example, made the network better at goal-directed behavior, and some neural networks became more stable and organized through treatment. So it's something through Cambridge and came out of the UK. But I mean, finally, that's what I get out of this article. Nothing totally conclusive or life-changing, but finally, some kind of therapeutic success is achievable.
I'm trying to follow this. I'm sorry. Are you saying that on a medication like the one that starts with O, it helps the brain, other parts of the brain that aren't in the Bad Girls Club, like mitigate the seizure in
That's
the
what it's. I
Bad
mean, do you
Girls Club
guys
part?
have you guys seen Lucy? I just watched a badass movie, Lucy, yesterday. Okay, now
Yeah,
I
she
can't
caught,
help
so
but yes,
she
I
like
can't
did
help but
stuff.
compare this to that. So it sounds like what they're saying is with this computer brain, they offered the stimuli, and you know how like seizures happen, and these neural pathways are just kind of like tangled and fucked for good. This is suggesting that some of these experimental treatments can allow the hard drives that they're using as like brains to readapt. And the last quote here is saying our work highlights a key obstacle to this goal, that the neural functional endpoints we typically rely on to define treatment efficacy may not be optimal. So even their outcomes aren't quite good enough yet. And then importantly, we show these endpoints can be influenced and even improved with drug intervention, opening the door to more meaningful measures of therapeutic success. So I mean, they have to keep their sponsors somehow. But yeah, I think if the right people actually like keep this going, maybe they will reach some kind of goal. And yeah, if anybody sees Lucy, then shit will start to make more sense.
I seen it. It was good.
Yeah.
Would you guys like choose having your epilepsy fully cured or and having no feelings and kind of being like a robot, or still having to deal with your epilepsy but still continue to have feelings? Because that's like a really big thing for me to think about as someone who went through electroconvulsive therapy. So it just makes me think if anyone else would take an extreme length to where their feelings could potentially be almost cut off and have to be rewired in kind of a robotic way.
I can answer this. As much as I want my epilepsy cured, I do not want my feelings or anything taken away, anything that determines what me is me, you know? It's kind of how, like, what I fear what dementia will do to me, you know?
And that's why I think I saw a lot of the people I saw in electroconvulsive therapy were people of older age, typically with dementia, and things of that nature. I believe, I believe it would treat that too if they were having some really strong mental health crisis along with their diagnosis. But there were not, again, there were only about 2 or 3 of us that were in our 20s to 30s. So I think it really does, it's a very interesting look on, because I think that epilepsy and that are, because it is sending you into a seizure. It's a forced seizure. So it's just interesting how if you would choose something but have to lose a huge other thing. Sorry, I'm starting to sound like a 4-year-old here, but I promise in my head it makes sense. When it comes out my mouth, it just sounds like gibberish, but
No, I
one
see,
day
I see
you
what
guys
you're
will
saying.
be on
It's
my
like it's give and
horizon.
take. It's give and take. It's what's more important, what's worth it. At the end of the day, it's all this whole balancing act that we all have to work with. So that
Yeah, I think,
neurofeedback thing, though. Yeah, go ahead.
It sounds
sorry,
like
I think
epilepsy.
it, oh, sorry, should
Say
I
that
go
again?
then? It sounds similar to the sort of, I don't know, maybe I'm misreading the sentiment, but sort of like in um, autism and Asperger's communities on Reddit, where the question arises, would you rather be cured, neurotypical, or would you? And I just like, I'll take the impairments. It's who I am. I think I feel the same way about epilepsy. It is me, and I don't know. It's yeah.
Well, I was kind of thinking
Oh,
about it too because of if we would take $1 million or a cure for epilepsy, because it kind of is like almost the same question, but in a more like combative field of emotion, because you're losing something instead of gaining something either way. You're losing something either way.
But
So it
this one
gets
I
it.
had a
yeah,
different answer for.
Yeah.
higher
Yeah.
I took the
stakes,
Yeah.
money
maybe.
last time. This
Yeah.
time I would keep the seizures. But that thing you guys were talking about, neuropsychology, I'm seeing as the method of obtaining the diagnosis, and neurofeedback therapy more as the solution for that
Yeah.
diagnosis achieved through neuropsychology. And I like that idea of neurofeed helping you to fix it yourself, even though
Yeah.
they say you're still gonna have to take meds.
Yeah. There's a place up here within like 15 miles of where I am now, and they offer it. And they offer it for epilepsy too. To I don't know. They say you can learn to read, like you can teach your brain to stop a seizure when it feels it coming on, like in your sleep and stuff. I don't know. Haven't gone any further than that, but I'm looking into it, and I thought I would bring it up and see if anybody else had heard of it, because it was the first time I had heard of it.
I know that I'm being assigned with like a seizure or an epilepsy caseworker for disability and stuff, and they also want me to be in epilepsy support groups and like do therapy for it, but I'm not sure what they mean by therapy for the epilepsy. Like I don't know what that means necessarily if it's not medication.
It's probably
I-
talk therapy, but they say that if
But
you're going
like
to do
what is
the,
that? Why am I
don't ask me. They almost always want to do that. Anyway,
it's just like what?
um, they say even that with the neurofeedback therapy, that they still expect you to do talk therapy with it. And what they do is they put like an EEG scalp cap on you, and you like play video games and you control whatever with your mind, your actual like
Hmm.
I don't know, the electrodes in your brain, I guess, or your electric activity in your brain to try to teach it to not do things or to overcome things. I don't know. It just sounds really interesting to me. I thought I would bring it up to see if anybody else had heard of it.
I just inhaled some activity on my brain. But back to what Angel was saying earlier, like that's why I don't want to change pills, because I don't want the pills to change me. And I've heard of like pills changing people's personalities in different ways. And I like me. I like who I am now, and I'm comfortable with who I am now. And I don't want to be a personality change that's noticeable to other people. Because yeah, sometimes you might lose people with your new personality. Did anyone else have anything to say?
That always scares me, the whole like somebody telling you're different. Go ahead, whoever's talking, I'm sorry.
Oh, I wanted to make a completely different point that like I think the chat's getting we're getting more people in here. And I think it might be a good idea to use the raise hand feature. Because I think there's some people who don't have ADHD and wouldn't listen to themselves talk all day long. If you could just like Jason right now, yeah. If I was thinking maybe this is gonna be rough, but like try to keep our answers to like I don't know, like under 4 minutes. I'm gonna put a timer up here. I'm doing it right now. So Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, so like like with to pyramid nearly destroyed like my speech and my stirring, because like I remember like personally when I had seizures and when they put me on pyramid, like back in my hometown, like I couldn't even get like a sentence out. I couldn't get a sentence out, couldn't get a word out. Like not like just I mean like just like not even everything, and like it was just a whole disaster. So like, and like I tried to talk with my doctor in my hometown in Tallahassee, and he told like I got on a pyramid and stuff, and they want me to pay like $180, and at that time I didn't have a job in Tallahassee, and like I felt like in Tallahassee and that hometown nobody was gonna hire me, so like that's why I decided like I went to a treatment center and and just did from there. And like there was this doctor, Dr. Wendy. So like she helped me, like got me disciplined and got my life straight. So and then after that I it was from Sebring and then to Pompano. And like Pompano, and that's where I'm currently located, and that's where I'm living right now. So like that, like that's why I got off the pyramid, and I got off Geodon as well. And the years that with Geodon, like I mean like I wish I had a college friend that would tell me that everything's gonna be all right. But like I feel like I never had that.
So you never really had like the support and understanding from your doctors, basically?
Basically in Tallahassee, because like
Yeah.
because like, with Tallahassee, like with Tallahassee, like they were no help. Like all they care about was just about money. That's just that's all they ever care about.
So,
Oh, sorry.
well,
I was gonna say, so pyramid's very it does that. It really ruins your focus and word retention. It's I'm trying to get off it right now, and it, I really don't like it. And I'll go back on Capra if I have to. It's yeah, I really don't like it. I have to agree with Jason there.
So while you're getting off the topiramate, the seizures don't feel like a threat. It's more the emotional and like mental.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
combined with Depakote and the benzos, it's just a flood of brain dampening mess.
Yeah, with that many, I'm sure you're definitely bound to feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was on 3,000 milligram when I was on 3,000 milligram of Keppra, and that was the max in Tallahassee. So I got down to like 1,000 milligram of Keppra. So like, so like I'm still like working down to like I'm working down to get off Keppra. But I feel like most doctors I feel like most doctors in my hometown like were never helped. Like all they cared about was just like all they cared about was about money. And I never the first year the first day that I got there, like the first year like the my neurologist from there until actually retired. So like so like I was fucked completely.
Did they even leave you with a referral?
No.
Oh, that's horrible. Talk about inexcusable. But that's what happened to didn't Pookie, you said your neuro retired, right? Or is about to or something.
Yeah, he's gone.
So
He's long gone.
yeah. So that's definitely something that comes up all too often.
When's your next appointment, Pookie?
Next month,
Uh,
not too far away. We'll talk to my primary and just tell him to give me a new one. And
Gotta hurry up before you come East Coast.
huh?
I said we gotta hurry it up before you come East Coast.
Yeah, I need to do that too, and I need to make sure I get a neurologist who's going to prescribe me something before I run out. The next one was: has anyone had their seizures change in their late adulthood? Coming up on 40, I am so scared of menopause. Anyone have their seizure randomly changed later in life? If so, how did it change? I'd say mine's personally, they graduated from TCs to wandering off. So, anybody else? How did your seizures change as you got older?
Well, I mean,
Go ahead,
mine
Angel.
just got
Oh.
that medication resistant thing. So they happen more frequently. Had to switch the meds. That was not how it was for the first 5 years, I think, after I actually accepted the diagnosis and started taking that first batch of meds. It took them that long, consistently increasing every 6 months to get to the max dose. And that's the first time drug resistant popped up on the chart when they put me on like Fycompa or something the next try, and it just didn't work. And then moved again, got a new neurologist. They looked at the chart and said, so nobody's ever mentioned drug resistant to you if you've been having seizures this entire time? And I'm like, no, I started my life. I got everything going for me now. I'm good. And the seizures just weren't that bad yet. I was having more focals than tonic-clonics, and I thought since I was getting a college degree, I had the world ahead of me, and yeah, not true. Go ahead, Angel, you got your hand up.
Yeah, mine changed big time. Um, I was always unaware, and everything with my seizures while having my seizures and everything. And then I started getting the clusters. And the clusters, I am sometimes aware, and they're scary. They're very scary.
Moving on. Anybody? All right. Is family alcohol use. For those of you with epilepsy and avoid alcohol because it can lower your seizure threshold, what do supportive family members do to support your decision? If you're a young adult or teenager, do your parents abstain from alcohol or form of support? Or do they wish they would, or do you wish they would? I'm a parent of a daughter with epilepsy who hopes she avoids alcohol when she's older, and I'm trying to figure out if and when to cut it out of our household. Parents, this is a parents question. Come on, parents.
As soon as possible, sooner the better. If you know there's something negative in the household that's not helping anyone, gotta face the facts before it's too late.
Yeah, I say follow your first mind.
Annie?
I have grandsons who are approaching their teens. Well, both of them will be teenagers this year. Holy crap, 15 and 13. I don't want to think about that right now. But anyway, my take on it, and the same thing with cannabis. We're a cannabis family. Okay. My kids who are adults, you know, and the big thing was, oh, we don't want it around the kids when the boys were younger. And it's like they're going to be approached by it anyway. So the more they know about it, the better the better they can make those decisions. And that's, that was my opinion. And I feel the same way about alcohol. Maybe just put it in a locked cabinet, but I don't believe adults should have to completely remove that unless it's something that cannot be contained. If it can be contained to keep, that distance from that child getting it, I would say don't remove it completely from the house. They need to learn while they're home that this is something dangerous and they're going to have to deal with it socially somehow later. And I'd rather see those kids be prepared to do that and not just thrown into the wild and have to find a way to figure it out for themselves. It's like, this is what it does. Have a little sip. They see me having a bourbon on my birthday. And that's just part of the reason they call me groovy. I'm not drinking all the time. Their dad is, packing down 40s all day long. And, they know that I have a healthy respect for what those substances do. My grandsons are also aware how I use natural substances. I didn't come right out and say it, but my youngest grandson was like, hey, I heard that this is good for nerve pain. And it happened to be psilocybin. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And yes, it is. It works very well. And it was like, oh, okay. And he just wanted me to know that there was something that could help, not that it was an illicit or illegal substance. But I think that's healthier that kids are educated at home.
I'm calling out parents. Go ahead.
As a parent, yeah, I'm going to say the same thing because my father was always very honest with us. My parents were divorced, but my mom drank and she thought that cannabis was the devil. But my dad got, visitation and he would drink beer and hang out with his friends and we hung out with our friends. But he told us the truth about, cannabis. It's not going to kill you. And they really have demonized it. But see, we're talking in the 80s and 90s. So it's before we've got some legalization going on. But yeah, he was always honest with us about stuff. And he told us, like, don't do this and don't do that. And if you're going to drink, never, ever drive. I was always the designated driver because my father beat it into my head from the time I could understand what alcohol was. And that's good. All my friends are still alive, right? From the parties. But yeah, I agree with you, Annie. It's best to just tell them the truth. You don't have to leave it where they can get it, but you should be honest because otherwise they're just going to think you're a liar. And then what are they going to trust you with or about? Right?
Rick, you're a parent.
Yes. um, you have honest talks with them, and hopefully you've had a long history of good communication. So nothing's off bounds and nothing is embarrassing and nothing is something that you keep from each other. Adding to what everybody else said, because everybody else had awesome points too.
Thank you for another awesome contribution. What's up, Mark?
I just wanted to add in, I don't know, wait, what was the thought? It was,
Take your time.
forbidden fruit syndrome. I had, a big problem with, alcohol and other substances. And a lot of it, I think, started out like early on, a lot of curiosity, all the way back, like, my very earliest memory was when I was 3 years old. My mother, we were in the kitchen, and my mother told me, "Don't touch the burner, Mark, it's hot." And I looked up at her and I looked at the burner, and the burner wasn't red and glowing. So I reached up and I touched it, and it burned me. But that's basically like a kind of a good little metaphor for a lot of, like, a big aspect of my personality. It's like, if you tell me something is off limits, I'm gonna be like, Really? Why? What's so, is it really?" And especially with, a lot of these other substances like alcohol and other drugs, it can't be that bad if so many other people are doing it. It's the more off limits it is, but it's still, you know, used, still, seen as um an important part of, you know, somebody's social life, or just their routine. The more it's tempting to a lot of personalities. So I'm not a um I'm not a parent personally, but I would be frank with, the dangers of a lot of these things, but also that, they're good in some ways. The burner burned my finger, but it also had just heated up some oatmeal. So, these things have their uses, they have their places, but, um, like, rigid that off limits is, the more it's tempting. So,
And the less reason you give them for why it's off limits, the more chance they're gonna sneak off and try it. The same. My
yeah,
my
just
brother
say
had
no
that
wasn't a good
personality where
reason.
he would do whatever in the heck was forbidden, whatever in the heck was wrong. He was gonna do it no matter what it was from I think the day he was born. And he's still there, so it's a personality trait, I think. But yeah, a lot of people have that reaction, so it's best to be honest with your kids, right? Everybody who's a parent agree?
Yeah, I'm still calling out parents. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, I think Andy said it perfectly. what's the sense of hiding it from them when they're going to be exposed to it later? But I'm not the perfect example. My daughter is dead from a drug overdose. My niece, who spent a month with me after not seeing her for 40 years, died a month later from a drug overdose. But I'm still here. So I was exposed to the same things they were. And I tried to show my daughter to use stuff safely. But, some people you can teach them and they don't want to learn. But I still think hiding it is a mistake. I feel very strongly that Annie said it perfectly. And anybody that says they're sorry, it's not a big deal. She died, and I had a very strange relationship with my daughter. I loved her, but I didn't like her. And that's a terrible thing for a parent to say, but that's how I felt. And if you knew her, you wouldn't like her either. And I think that's all.
Angel?
Yeah, it's what everybody else been saying. You gotta tell them the truth about it. I mean, you can, in certain situations, I can even go back and, like, if it was my daughter, show her videos, prime examples, like if it was drinking, you know, of her mom and stuff. It's like, yeah, and, I can just like, you got to educate them right, not the way the schools do it. And, but you got to educate them right, educate them why, if they're epileptic, tell them this is why, what it's going to cause, and, everything has a consequence, you want to do it, you're going to have to be prepared. You're an epileptic, prepare for a seizure, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad I got all that from you guys because I had no answer at first. But yeah, like you guys said, don't hide it. Tell them about it. Yeah, that's it. Just don't hide it and explain it to them. Maybe the more they know about it, like Sailor Mom said, the more they know, the less they would want to do it. And then next question was kicked out of school. So I'm just finding out about ADA Act. I was kicked out of school when I was younger from my epilepsy. It was uncontrolled. I didn't start seizing until I was 16. But is there anything I can do now? I've been trying to get GED, but it's been hard. And I haven't been able to pass. I've been trying to get a job, but without a GED, no decent places will hire me. Advice.
I would just think don't give up. See what services are available for counseling. I mean, if there are some kind of tutoring services available, whoever's administering the test should have some resources or some kind of light to shed on that point of just how can you get some help if the GED is not coming to you. I mean, who knows, maybe there's some dyslexia going on or something that is just not being handled, and that's what's actually stopping you from learning. That's one of the subjects that I wanted to bring up today, is that I feel like, as time goes on, I have to learn as much as I can as quick as possible, because I just feel like it's gonna get a lot hard, only get harder.
Well, I feel like this is a Nicole point, if she was here. And she would definitely say you have to go to the school and say you need these accommodations in order, you know, to get things done. And if they can't accommodate you, then yeah, it definitely goes on beyond that. So
I'm it.
Yeah, so I'm in college, and with my epilepsy and everything, I was able to get accommodations from the school. So right now I get extended time, like 1.5 times on the regular time on exams, as well as a distraction reduced environment. But yeah, all I had to do essentially was just reach out to I go to San Jose State, and what they call it is the Accessible Education Center. And so all I had to do was reach out to them, and they provided me with the accommodations. I provided the doctor's note. But yeah, I feel like if you just like go out and just like do like inquire about it, then I feel like you should be able to get some type of like accommodation. So yeah, that's basically what I had to say. Yeah.
Great
Yeah, when
points.
you said
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that that's actually out there. One and
Yeah.
a half times. That's for real. That's substantial.
I was gonna say, go and ask for an IEP and then they'll do a whole assessment and they'll figure out exactly what they need to do to help you. And if it's not enough, you can certainly go back in there and ask for more. And of course, you can involve an attorney if you have to, or a civil rights group. So try that first, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, when you said San Jose State, that reminded me. Yeah, you're around here. You're less than 30 minutes away from me. Yeah. I'm in the East Bay, you're in the South Bay. So yeah, that's another person in the Bay Area.
Hell yeah.
We got
And I
four in
just,
here now.
yeah, and I just moved out of the North Bay like 6 months ago. For 20 years, we lived there.
And me and Em are in the East Bay. And
A IRL meetup maybe.
say that
I
again.
like that idea of the GoFundMe to move the rest of us out there.
Yeah, no, I like.
Shit, I'm gonna be in Jersey next month. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys would love it.
I don't know. We'll
For
see.
sure, you'd love it. If it was ever affordable for people, you'd love it.
Oh, we got family out there and everything. I just don't know about tax. It's the money, the money, the cost of living, and too unfamiliar being back to month. That month budget is too intimidating.
We're in
But
Jersey.
I think we're going back to not Hackensack. I know they left Hackensack. So somewhere north. I know they're North Jersey now. But yeah, I'm definitely not the one keeping track of where everybody lives. I can't even manage names. This woman raised me. We're talking my godmother. We're going to visit her, and I'm gonna have to like try really hard to pick her out of a crowd. I don't know. But that's how it is. I can still introduce my children to her and just kind of try to play along.
As long as you remember their names, you're okay.
I was thinking about just going auntie, We'll go with that one. Mother's got like 5 sisters, so yeah, it's hard to keep track.
This person's asking for advice. So you guys got to listen because this one is a long one and I'm not going to remember it. But you guys got to answer it. It says doctors have changed test results 4 times. To start, This is in reference to one single EEG switching from normal to abnormal to normal to abnormal again. This is not about having one that is clean and then another that is not. This is a single test that flip-flops every time I see a neuro. Well, technically, not a single EEG, as each neuro I've been to has said that all the ones that they have seen from me are either normal or abnormal. None of them believe that I might do some clean and others not. Wait. None of them believe that I might do some clean and others not. How are they able to switch it so many times? I can understand once, maybe a doctor missed something. Maybe it was the right one, maybe it was the right cusp of being normal or abnormal, and one felt it didn't show enough to keep it normal, while another felt it didn't show enough to have it be abnormal. I constantly feel like I've been in game of tug of war between these test results for over a decade. Honestly, I don't even believe a doctor when they give me a result either way, because I know the next one will just revert all the test results to support their claim. It makes the test meaningless. I just don't get how and why they can switch it so much. For the why, does it really make a difference? They all medicate me either way. Is there anything I can do? The only thought my brain can say is get a second opinion, but I don't get what another opinion that is going to flip flop what my current doctor says will do. If there's really nothing to do, then that's fine. I just feel lost and confused, and I'm trying to make sense of what to do. Also, there's been a lot of doctors, but I wasn't going hunting for one that agreed with me. Two retired, and one was a pediatric one, which I aged out of. From the parts that I do remember of that, I forgot what I was going to say. So, yeah.
Okay, nobody's gonna ask you to read it again. So I think what I got from that one was just it sounded like somebody else who's having trouble adjusting, keeping up, essentially. I mean, the one thing, what stood out to you guys most about that? I mean, I'm thinking the chart. Even if a doctor tries to revert a diagnosis, if that diagnosis has already been made with evidence to support it, then even if the next doctor says they don't believe it, you can't necessarily count that as fact just because it came from a medical professional. So, the evidence is there. You got to keep it, because sometimes maybe they will try to erase it to save their reputation, but yeah, take that with a grain of salt.
Next.
Sailor Mom.
You're
Unmute.
still on mute. You're on mute.
Annie had that happen to her, right? Where they changed her results and stuff. So maybe we should ask her. But what I would say is get another opinion, get another doctor. I know that sounds like, okay, well, every doctor's the same. And I get that, right? Like we all kind of deal with the, well, let's just change the meds or up the meds or add a med or. But there's good ones and bad ones. Am I right, guys? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Annie?
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
thinking, I just got lost there. I have a feeling that I was a little confused. First, this person said it was one EEG, and then they mentioned all the EEGs. The doctor said, from all the EEGs from you. So I'm not sure if it's one or several, but I've had that happen to my benefit, where a different neurologist looked at an EEG and found something that the previous neurology doctor was not aware of. And it's one of those spike wave patterns that show deep brain seizures. So not every doctor on, just like anybody else, there's levels in those specialties. So it could be something like that where a different doctor looked at it. And then I kind of gathered a little bit about how can one test be fine and the others are not, why can't I get all clean tests? And that word clean kind of threw me. But if you've had epilepsy long enough, and it sounds like this person has, you're going to be aware that you're going to have normal and abnormal depending on your medication. They want you to have an abnormal EEG when you're in the EMU, but you're going to have a normal EEG when you're on your medication. And it kind of sounds like this person might be stuck in that kind of what's going on. Do I even need this medication if it's normal? If you're having a normal EEG while you're taking medication, that's the goal. That doesn't mean you can stop taking the medication. Yeah, I'm sorry. It doesn't sound like they were changing a diagnosis either. But, how can it revert to normal and abnormal? You have to account for, the medication. Were you taking it at the time or not? And did you have the proper medication or not? So all of those factors have to be considered before you say, oh, I had a normal EEG. I don't need these pills anymore. So yeah.
That's a better way to put it. You definitely had insight into like the bigger picture there. All right, go ahead, Em.
I think I might have misunderstood the question just based on what Annie said. So they didn't get a new diagnosis. They just want to stop taking their meds because of the EEG.
No, I believe he said he got an a normal, then an abnormal, then a normal, then an abnormal, and yeah, he said, how are they able to switch it so many times? There's a lot going on there. That's why I kind of read it out loud. I couldn't even paraphrase what I thought was said. So,
Unless anybody else has input, I don't have anything to say.
okay. We'll read the first comment. Oh no, the first comment's way too long. We'll move on. This one says, JME, has anyone else who has been diagnosed with juvenile myoclonic seizures had a seizure from stress? I recently had one after 14 years of being stable on medication. Now I'm terrified of having another one due to stress. I am on 2 anxiety medications for now. I'm just curious if this is a thing that can happen regularly, or would this happen just because of an extreme stress case? I don't have JME, but I know you can still have stress-induced seizures. I think that would be the word. So avoid
Did
stressful
Amir
situations.
was Amir saying his brother or he had a sibling with juvenile with
He said he had
JME?
a sister.
Okay, so maybe if they had that, I wonder if the JME is genetic. Let's look into that.
I think he said it was. Is he still here?
No,
No,
I
he
just
left.
noticed he's not. He must have had to dip, but I'm saying yeah, JME is definitely genetic.
Oh,
I
I
don't
have
have
it.
that. Just sorry, go on. I can't see whose
Oh,
hand is raised. I'm on my phone.
no matter. No problem. But yeah, definitely stress related. And in combined with other triggers, um, depends on what the stress is. It could be uh I, it could be family stress. It could be you know like it, it, you gotta narrow it down because it depends on what stresses you out personally. Um, I remember having a few seizures in school, like trying to focus on the board and trying to do a lot of calculations in my head, um and the heat being turned up, and those two combined, I just blew a fuse and I had a seizure. So um yeah, so mental stress, uh, physical stress, anything. Yeah, it definitely is a factor.
That makes sense. Thanks for the input. At least this time it's not just saying it's hereditary, so any of your children are gonna have it. It's not like those weird ones that always skip a generation. It's easy. I think it's fair to say that any of the epilepsies that fall under the genetic category are just not understood.
Yeah, one here it says, do you follow a particular diet? I've come to realize that maybe alcohol and coffee do affect me, and I will be cutting them out of my diet. Did you have or try officially giving up on something? And did it work? So far, I stopped with nicotine maybe a month or 6 weeks ago or something like that, and I'm just waiting for a seizure.
I gave up all sweets, thinking that that might have a something to do. Over a month ago, and I had a seizure last night. So it hasn't helped me at all.
All right. Well, there you go with that. What's up, Angel?
I was going to say I went on to the Mediterranean diet, and while it has improved with my memory because of all the fatty fish and stuff, I still have seizures too.
Taylor, Mom, did you have something?
I was just gonna say, I wonder if they have had, a stay at, in-hospital stay where they test by giving you caffeine to see if that's one of your thresholds or one of your triggers. They don't, some places give you alcohol. I don't know who. I didn't have that, but but yeah, I was just wondering if maybe that's something they could look at. But no, I don't drink alcohol and I never have really. And caffeine is a pain in the butt to give up. But they say that it's not one of my things, so I really shouldn't have to give it up. But, you do what you have to for the people who have to deal with your seizures. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah, if we could narrow it down, then I'm sure we'd give it a try.
Yeah, they just want you to try. So, hey, Kevin.
You guys are in the comments, Sailor Mom and Ann, but I'm gonna read it still. It says, have you had any near-death, literally close calls from a seizure? I have. I stopped breathing and I had to have a helicopter come and get me. I believe that's happened twice. I mean, not the helicopter both times, but the stop breathing twice.
Is Jeff here? I know he has nocturnals, so it's a little different. Or if he stops breathing. Jeff, do you have anything? Maybe he's not here.
I use a CPAP machine, so I don't really stop breathing that I know of.
Yay!
Sometimes I wish I'd stop breathing, but it hasn't happened yet.
Jeff, you need to get some sun and have a non-alcoholic cocktail.
As soon as I get back, what I consider now my home, I will get plenty of sun and will stay away from those alcoholic cocktails.
There you go. Get back to watching the meetings after you get back, make it on to the West Coast.
Yeah, it's killing me here.
Oh, I bet. It sounds like the weather is just ridiculous this week.
It is. Well, the last couple of weeks.
We're waiting
Ugh.
for you, Jeff, on the West Coast.
Yeah,
Right. Waiting for you.
There you go. You're gonna have a surprise party.
I'm sure.
We'll have it online because we can't drive to you.
Kevin, do you
Any
plans on
characters you
leaving
like?
us?
What decorations?
Decorations,
Yeah, any characters you like?
pre-rolls.
Ah, those the gate
Favorite
breaks.
decoration.
What you say?
That's my favorite decoration.
All right. Good to go. Gotta decorate for son's birthday in a couple days, so figured we might throw something else in. And I didn't
Well,
think you were gonna say PJ Masks was your thing, but
I don't have a favorite.
all right, all right.
Everybody
to go.
likes
So-
chocolate.
I guess
Mhm.
Batman. Does he count?
Oh, that's a badass superhero, yeah.
Because he doesn't really have a superpower. He makes them all himself.
He's
That's a
rich.
way of
That's his
looking at it.
superpower.
Yeah, he's his own. I like that.
All right. Batman Jeff it is.
Hmm.
Em, you wanna put together that one about that what was it? Childhood epilepsy during sleep?
I do. I just saw the chat. Annie mentioned near-death experience during seizures. If she's interested in talking about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
I'm
okay.
here.
So that's one of the ones that she replied to. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I did reply to that. Yeah, I've had a lot of those. Some I remember, some I don't. There were things that I remembered that when I talked to the doctor about it later, he was confused because he said, but you were what they call, you were altered. I was comatose. He said, how could you remember that happened? I'm like, why are you asking me? You're the doctor. I'm just telling you what I remembered, So there's a couple of those. And, I think the scariest ones were the ones where I was comatose for days. And I remember one, it was coming out that was, coming back is a little fuzzy. It's like that was more dramatic because I don't remember. Athena, stop, baby. Sorry, she is chewing her feet till they bleed. But I do remember a lot of that stuff. Ouch. Okay. I had to take care of the dog, maybe put her in a separate room. But yeah, the near-death experiences, the ones I remember are the ones I needed therapy for. I'll just leave it at that.
All right, plan on a puppy play date at the end of July, Ann.
Tell them
I got a
you
good
in the
near-death
comments.
experience.
Oh, go ahead.
I was in a fire.
Oh,
I had a seizure at the same time. My house caught on fire.
oh man.
Yeah.
Do you want to
What was the
elaborate?
cause? Yeah, please.
I probably should. This is like a 1 in a million chance. It was I was still having several seizures a week, and it was coming up around the 7-year anniversary of this. It was July, really, really hot. It's like 100 degrees or something, and it was an electrical fire. in the back of my house there. And yeah, burned down half my house. And I was just unconscious for about a few minutes. And I had other relatives home at the time. And I don't really know how I got out of the house, but um, fire people got here really quickly. And um, I woke up outside the house. And house burned down. Half of the house burned down. So um, if my family members weren't home, I would have died. Yeah. So uh, that's that.
That's 1 in a million, like you said.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that. That's
Yeah.
so crazy. Glad that you're here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all glad you're here.
He was the second person I met. The first day.
So when did, okay, off topic, he was the second person in the Zoom, is that what you're saying?
Yep. First day. There
OG
was,
Kevin.
there was one guy from Austria. Wait, no, he was from Turkey. And,
Oh yeah.
And then there was a guy, Kevin, then Brandon, then Rick. Yeah, so
You got the best memory out of all of us. You remember names and locations? That's
yeah,
impressive.
it's out of nowhere. It's not something that usually happens. That's a 1 in a million, like Kevin. That doesn't always happen like that.
That
It's
just
already
shows you
like-
got your shit together with this group.
Yeah, because
I think we met
I
we met
usually don't
soon
remember
after
what's
that.
there's someone else. I think his name was Jamie. He was here too, and it was like his first time. There's a short I made with him, and he was talking about would you rather be happy and epileptic or taking your pills and be unhappy and raging, but not epileptic? And I was like, that's a good way to put it. But yeah, I'd rather take my pills. He said it's a catch-22, so yeah, I'd rather take my pills and try to get better. But Sailor Mom, you were in the comments also. I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did comment. And then I talked to Annie in the
So
comments.
what's your or should I have to go read your comment?
Oh, no, you don't have to. Let's see. Well, I don't actually remember exactly what I wrote, but you know, something to the effect of I've stopped breathing a lot, and yeah, and the status epilepticus, where they wanted to put me in a coma and intubate me. I was lucky enough that my husband said, please don't do that unless you absolutely have to. So they didn't. Like, I know Annie's been put in a coma and been intubated a bunch of times, and I just feel terrible for her about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's, yeah, it's a real thing. I didn't want to admit it, but it is. Anyway.
I don't want to push it, but isn't it the thing about being intubated and coma and all that, isn't it just way too, doesn't it feel way too easy for them to like let you slip away? Is that kind of why you don't want to get to that point?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not, he didn't want to do it
That's just my
because,
impression of it. I don't really know what it involves.
yeah, I mean, how are you going to bring somebody up out of the coma? If you can't get the seizure to stop, how does putting them further under and making a breathing tube work? And the only way that I could figure it out is I was literally SUDEPing and not breathing, just not at all. Because that has happened multiple times. The very first one where my husband, you know, discovered me, I don't even know how many minutes away from dead, because I was just barely breathing, and I was just total foam, and he just happened to wake up and go, oh my God. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's scary stuff. I'm not as scary as Annie, but, yeah, I don't know. SUDEP is real, and status epilepticus is real, and I don't know why putting people in a coma is better, and that's why my husband said don't do it unless you have to, because he didn't know why it was better either. Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing that into focus for all of us now. What's up, Jeff?
But, since I've never knowingly had a tonic-clonic, do all of you that had them stop breathing at some point? Is that common?
I've never been monitored during any of my bad ones for, I mean, they took me out. Like they got me out of it before it got to that point. So during like the longest bad ones is when I wasn't in the hospital and being monitored. So I can't say for sure, but I have a suspicion just because of the headache. The longer whenever it's over 2 minutes, been recorded over 2 minutes, the headache will last 8 hours. And it's that
Yeah.
same like dull throbbing kind of always there. It's a different kind of headache for sure.
The kind
So
you want
that's
to
why I
sleep
suspect
off.
oxygen loss. Yeah, I suspect oxygen loss just because of the residual effects.
Hmm.
You
I
will
have some of the same
definitely.
effects. I get that headache as well. And as far as I know, I don't stop breathing, but maybe I do.
That's what had me thinking, like, just because my lips aren't blue, I mean, what else could be causing a headache like that if I didn't thrash around so much and hit like and those kinds of headaches feel different because when you smack your head, it hurts
Yeah.
there. There will be a lump. There's more
Oh, it's
evidence.
definitely a different headache. You can tell right away.
Yeah, but I mean that's the kind of reassuring part of hearing that you guys have the same headache because I'm at the point now where I think this machine is doing more like harm than good sometimes.
Mm.
Who knows if these shocks aren't causing the headaches? I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right.
What's up, Em?
Oh, I want to let Jeff go too, and then I'll go.
I'm done.
Okay. I can't like even relate to Kevin and Annie, Kate, Sailor Mom. So thank you for sharing. That's like very, I want a better word for intimate stories, your personal stories. So I want to preface and say like this can't compare to that in any way. But you can go into non-convulsive status epilepticus, which I did also at the hospital, and they take blood from an artery or something close to your heart, and I think it was my carbon dioxide was very low or my oxygen. So for people who have focals or seizures in your sleep like Jeff, that's why I do push the nanny cam. You have to watch really carefully if you want to see if you're stopped breathing. And for those people, people with focals do need a rescue med, I think. Yeah, even better if you have somebody who can recognize it. In a sleep study, Jeff, I think you already did one. And the CPAP. So that's all. I just wanted to call out the focals, even though they're not really anywhere near a fire burning your house down.
I did the sleep study for the CPAP, and I recently did one for my neurologist. And I have a nanny cam which is not set up. And when I am going back home, I am going to order your whatever it's called. But the one you recommended, I have it set aside. I just don't remember what it is, and I'm ordering it.
We will remind you nanny cam as much as possible, and you will get some Batman decorations.
Yep.
Get a Batman suit and sleep in it. That will make it more fun to watch the footage.
There you go. That's putting two and two together. Thank you.
Or
You'd
some
rather
like
not know
pajamas,
what I'm
foot in
sleeping in.
pajamas.
I
So,
don't wear them.
so I just wanted to let Jeff know the tonic-clonics, your brain literally just stops too, and the oxygen stops. So this is an increase in brain damage. Also, so technically, yeah, you're dying every time you're having a tonic-clonic.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But
Oh, sorry.
go ahead. Mama's taught me ladies first.
I was not taught that, so please go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, and I had my first cluster, which, like Anne said, everything that can get you in pretty much in a life threatening situation, you will need therapy for. Yeah. And I was convulsing for at least 6 hours. And I was lucky that I didn't go into status, but I'm not, I'm sorry. I don't mean it. I'm trying to better mom and Annie. You know what, guys, what I mean.
Yeah, it makes sense. Go ahead, Sailor Mom.
I'm not sure exactly what I was going to say now. Uh, we were talking about,
But yeah.
I think it was the residual effects of the longer tonic-clonics.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty
Something
severe.
like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will feel a different type of headache.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it will last days.
Days, yep. And
Yeah.
just, well, my epileptologist said just an aura, which is a small seizure basically, before it goes everywhere, is like a 16-hour workout. So times that by however long, you're seizing for. When they say like a 5-minute one is the longest you should be having, when you're having like a 45-minute, or like you, Angel, when you're having 96 hours, however, that's good grief. It's like putting your body through a washing machine. Ouch. I'm sorry. That sucks.
I gotta go be a dad. I gotta put on dinner. Somebody, you guys, go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Enjoy.
Yes, and Kate too, if you need to run out, just let me know. I can't see who has a raised hand, so if everybody else can just help me out there.
I'll
I'm
keep
on
an
my
eye on
phone
that.
right now. Okay,
Yeah, that's
thank
cool.
you.
Okay, so I was surprised right here, pulling up the Epilepsy Society of the UK.org.uk. I like that one a lot better. And one of the subjects on here is making the most of your pharmacist. Have you guys ever had better luck with your pharmacist than the doctor? Actually bringing up some kind of interaction, or like, I wouldn't be surprised, but I kind of want to know if anybody else has had that.
Yeah.
Please elaborate. When did the pharmacist actually do something like you wish your doctor would have done?
Okay, I'll go first. I had a really good pharmacist at CVS, but they shut the CVS down, and I have to go to another pharmacy a few miles away. And these people are weird. They're shady, actually. I don't trust them, and the I don't know. I just don't trust them. And I actually got banned from that store for yelling at them. I did. Yeah, because they keep withholding the clobazam, and I have to
I'm
wait
sure
till
they
like,
deserved it.
well, I yelled at them and I said something very mean to them, and they sent me something from the sheriff's department, and it said you can't come. Oh, it's a big city. Philadelphia is a big city, and I go in there all the time, and they don't know it's me. They don't got my picture on the wall. Like, what? What are they gonna do? Call the
But you
police?
made an impression that time.
Well, yeah, whatever. But my
Nobody's
last,
keeping track of you in Philly. I get it. Go ahead.
yeah, they don't care. The last CVS I went to was actually really excellent. They had great pharmacists there, and the new one sucks. That's my point. Someone else go.
I lurked in the CVS pharmacy subreddit for a little bit. And yeah, I feel like you gotta find one where they're not super overworked, which is hard, or they just all happen to be nice. Um, like you said. My point is that pharmacists complain because they're underutilized and they know all these interactions, but all they do is fill pills. So get a consult, like if you're having a problem, seriously. Not with like a bitchy pharmacy though.
When I first moved to Pennsylvania, it was a little further up the river than where I am now. And there was no large store there, so I dealt with a local pharmacy. And at the time, I was on a lot of opiates and steroids. And one time, my cardiologist gave me something, and the pharmacist called me and said, "You can't take this." And he did that on several occasions when different doctors would give me things. He would either not fill the prescription and tell me, or he would call me beforehand and say, if you want to take this, you have to stop taking the other thing. So I haven't had that now that I go to CVS, but when I was in a small local place, I had that. Who's over next?
I wasn't here for the question.
Sailor Mom and Annie had their hand up.
Yeah, Annie, you want to go first?
I know I shared this story before, but it was a pharmacist that literally saved my life and refused to fill a prescription for Depakote when I was on lamotrigine because the dosing needs to be adjusted appropriately. Apparently, the way the two drugs react together, and the script wasn't written appropriately. So she stopped the script and said, "I can't do this for you. You have to call your doctor and let them know." And this doctor was a brand new PA, and of course she wasn't having it. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to come in there and for another appointment. And that was her, the quintessential, sorry, y'all just lost a $2 million sponsorship. But yeah, she nearly killed me with Depakote and then told me to hit the streets for medical marijuana. So, but it was the pharmacist that saved my ass that day, you know?
Thank you, Annie. Always perfect insight. And Sailor
I
Mom.
have a oh sorry, go.
So 2 times. One time I had a really bad experience and I had to change my pharmacy afterwards and I had to turn them into the pharmacy board because it was one of those things where you're changing your meds, right? So they give you a prescription and you're titrating up as you switch over, right? So what do? They give you, 1 week is going to be this amount and the next week's going to be that amount and the next week's going to be that amount. And so you know, altogether it's supposed to be a big bottle. They gave me enough for like 1 week. And then they tried to say they didn't do anything wrong and that I was drug seeking. Like, who seeks anti-seizure medicine anyway? But and it was a big to do. Oh my gosh, I had to take my prescription back in there and they still wouldn't. I had to get my doctor to call and transfer it to a different pharmacy because they just would not admit they effed up. And then I had a pharmacist do a good thing, and several times, where my doctor's office is really big, right? Because it's at UCSF. And so sometimes they don't get back to us in time before the refill is supposed to be up, you know, like, you know, you call them a few days ahead of time and you put it in your mind, try to do whatever. And then you also call the pharmacy to have them call. But sometimes they don't always get back in time. But you need that medication or you're going to start seizing, right? So I've had pharmacists override and give me like 10 days worth of a medication or give me a prescription for my rescue pills, even though she hadn't actually talked to my doctor, because she could look back at my history and say like, okay, you definitely need this. I don't want to be the one to say no, and then tomorrow you're dead. So I had a really good pharmacist down there, and she was really good at that.
Okay, so some pharmacists do come in handy, to say the least. It sounds like she actually did, you know, went above and beyond on that one.
Always. She was a miracle worker. I really liked her.
So I'm wondering why so many other pharmacists just seem like they don't even want to give that information. I'm seeing over here in the UK how they can give shots and do all this other stuff. But, oh, speaking of, what do you guys think about CDC not recommending as many flu shots anymore? Did you guys ever have reactions from vaccinations or seizures caused by?
I did, but I didn't know it at the time. But the vaccine caused more seizures, but it also helped a precancerous area. So I'll take that. I seizurely side eye this administration, so that recommendation I don't really trust for that reason. But yeah, I'm honestly more interested in everybody else's input here.
Go ahead. I don't see any hands raised. Hey, Sia's here. So Sia, if you didn't hear, that last question was about vaccines. If they just said something about flu shots, not as many flu shots being recommended, and I just thought to bring that up to the group and see if, you know, vaccines have ever caused a reaction, or you think epilepsy was ever affected by vaccinations.
I can't say that I have any experience on if it's affected my seizures, because I haven't gotten any vaccinations since I started having seizures, but I will say that myself and my family, like my kids as well, have had a lot of issues with vaccinations. My son had a severe reaction to the DTaP vaccine, and he isn't allowed to get it. I'm not sure how long they want to wait, but he had such a severe reaction that we think that it might have affected his body like long term, but we've yet to see like how that could affect him.
Was it gamma
anybody
ray?
know?
Okay,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry. Does anybody know why flu shots and vaccines affect people with epilepsy badly?
I related to the catamenial. You know, that a vaccine would definitely prompt a change in hormones, and anything drastic or severe, from diet to exercise to elevation, you know, and any drastic changes always bring something on for me.
I guess anything that throws your system off, yeah, even in the slightest.
Yeah, you're trying to provoke an immune response with um these
Vaccines, yeah, you provoke an immune
yes,
response with like a little piece of the
yeah.
disease. I don't know. I don't remember how to say it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, yeah. I had the V. I knew that. I was trying to find the rest of the word there. Yeah, it's intentionally causing an issue. So if it makes sense that we don't necessarily fully understand all the ramifications of that.
I had taken both COVID shots, but this doesn't relate to epilepsy because I didn't have it then. But I can't take flu shots at all, and that's because of my Lyme disease. But that has nothing to do with epilepsy, so I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jeff, just to jump in, isn't Lyme related? Oh, Kaden. Isn't Lyme related to seizures? And also I do just want to say you might have been having seizures since you didn't know. So if you got any vaccines, or maybe you didn't, you already had Lyme. It could have affected you, just saying.
Lyme is well known to cause seizures. My neurologist sloughs that off. He says, no, it can't be from Lyme. He's spoken to his Lyme expert, and he dismisses it, but I'm fairly convinced that it comes from Lyme. And
So they're
you
trying
know,
to give you the impression that they're positive Lyme disease is not affecting your central nervous system.
in my case, they're saying no, it's not. They're saying yes, it can, but that's not it in my case.
Okay.
And I don't know how they're coming at that conclusion. I think they're full of crap. But you know, here's the thing. My wife believes in these doctors, and I do whatever makes her happy.
And just put it to bed with that. All right. What's up, Salem Mom? You had your hand up.
Well, I was gonna say that I don't know how much I reacted to my last vaccination, but two things. One, I can't, like, if I go to the dentist and they try to put needles of numbing stuff in, it is 100% guaranteed that I am either going to come home and go into status epilepticus or a horrible cluster or worse. Like last time I ended up in the ER just from a tooth cleaning. And I told the lady, I was like, I don't really think you should be putting like a bunch of needles up in my gums. Like, I will take the pain from your cleaning. It's okay. And she was like, no, I have to do this. And so because of that reaction, it's scary to go to the dentist, you know, when they don't listen to you. But the other thing is my children, they were going to do the DTaP with a bunch of other shots, and we purposely told the pediatrician to break it up because we were like, that's way too many vaccinations at once, like really bad. And thank God they didn't want to listen to us, but they did, thank goodness. So yeah, I know the DTaP can be really, I mean, because it's so much all at once, it's really can be a lot. So I sympathize to you. And I hope your son's okay. I'm sorry. It's terrible.
Yeah, he's dealing with some separate health issues. He has to go in a couple of months to get another urine test because he started having blood in his pee. Very random, kind of scared the crap out of me. But they checked out his kidneys, they look okay. But yeah, like I've been like a hawk on him for years, ever since that happened, because he was a year old. And yeah, it was scary. And they tried to tell me that it wasn't from the vaccine, but you read the pamphlet that they give you, they tell you the side effects of a severe reaction right there on the paper. So it's kind of hard to miss. And ever since that happened, I started breaking up all of their vaccines. So everything that they've gotten since then has all been like one at a time.
We
Yeah,
were
well
like,
said.
why are you trying to do, I think it was like DTaP plus like 4 other things, and we were like, okay, we have twins, and there's no way I'm dealing with 1-year-old twins that have just had like 5 vaccinations each. And also, I really don't think their bodies can take that much at once. They're so little. Are you kidding? That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Blood in his urine, that's awful. I hope they
Yeah.
figure that out before it is a bigger problem, I guess. I mean, God, it sounds like it's already a problem, but anyway. Green, I'll be
Annie?
quiet. My
I saw that, Annie, and yeah, we did get him tested multiple times. It was twice that they did 2 cultures and 2 tests. Both times they didn't find any sign of infection or bacteria, which they told us was a good thing, but obviously that leads to other reasonings because the only thing that they found in both tests was just the pure blood. No protein, nothing else, just the blood.
Well, on a different note, what I wanted, oh, Em, got your hand up?
On just quickly on Lyme, if you've had any ticks, I think you can get a test for spotted Rocky Mountain fever. So just check out Alpha Gal, and some fillers in vaccines have mammal fillers. That's
Hey, any advice would help at this point. Oh, if that must be something you definitely don't want to give up on. And whenever a medical professional comes back with an explanation of everything's okay and just expect you to walk out, yeah, in the pediatric office, that's infamous. But like I said, on a different note, Sia, I would really love to hear about your watch.
Let me turn it on really quick. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Um,
Well, yeah, it's nice. I seen it.
yeah, this is the app here. So it tracked me last night. I had a spike in my heart rate. I was at 160 beats per minute last night. In the middle of the night, while I was passed out, it started going off the hook crazy with alarms. But I did end up being okay, but I think I might have had a seizure in my sleep. But it tracks it so that I can just go into the app and just press on the log that it created, and then it'll create a seizure event. But this is what it looks like on the watch. My sleeve's kind of covering, but the red one, the red button, is for immediate help. The yellow button is for delayed response. So if you know that you're gonna have a seizure like a few seconds to a minute, then you just press the red button. It sends an immediate message out to all of your emergency contacts that you have listed. You can add like a whole bunch. And then the yellow one is for if you're feeling like an aura coming on. Then you can let people know. I think it gives you a choice to see like how long you want to wait until it sends a message out. But that's pretty cool. And then if I hit this button, start monitoring, it confirms start. I know you can't see it, but I'm just reading it. Motion detection. I have that off because if you kind of like you're like me, I use my hands a lot to talk. So that can kind of confuse it, but I have my heart max at 120 and then my heart minimum at 64. And I start it, and then it'll tell me if I go above that or below that. And so it's been really helpful so far.
Sounds like a literal lifesaver. I gave up on that when, like you said, you talk with your hands a lot. It went off by accident once, and I gave up on that feature.
Yeah, I don't use it anymore. But the app, or not the app, but the watch itself still has the fall detection on it, and I have it set to like a certain amount of motion. And then if I like stop moving after a big motion, then it'll go off. But I haven't had it accidentally go off at all. And I move around a lot with my kids. So the fall detection on the watch itself is different than the motion detection on the watch. So I just have that one turned off.
And is this an Apple Watch?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Series 10. It's the newest one.
Okay, so they definitely have updated it. Sounds like that thing was about
Yeah.
definitely not double digits in the series that I had. So, all right, maybe it'll
Can
be
I
worth
ask
a try.
could I ask the price point on that for people listening?
So I got mine on a deal with our carrier. It was kind of like perfect timing because I had just switched over from another plan to my husband's plan. So I got them in conjunction, my iPhone 16 Pro Max, which was $1,000 off of the price tag. So the actual price of the phone is only going to be $300. And then I got the watch, which is $730. And I mean, it's different between carriers, but we use Verizon. So the watch was $500 off if you buy them together. And phone plans, they can be really expensive by themselves. Like my mom's used to paying like $250 a month, but even though I just got two brand new things, our bill is only 200 a month. So if you can handle it, it's a good deal to get them together because you can usually get discounts, but otherwise, the watch isn't that expensive in comparison to a phone. So if you have a phone that you still like and you're using it still, then just getting the watch shouldn't be too much added on because I'm only paying $5 a month for the watch itself.
Nice. So it's not one of those separate data plans and device charge with your carrier.
Yeah, so you can choose with Verizon to do shared cell service.
That's where we're at
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So we're paying $80 a month for my cell service and the watch is using that along with it. So there's no added charges.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely seems like they have a better reputation. Like when you combine families and bring everybody together and stuff, they'll, at least match a price. But it might only be for that first year, for that first contract, because then we end up like fighting with them every year. And yeah, my mother's a pro with that now
All
because
you
we
have to
combine.
do is be a Karen. I don't know why I was gifted this ability, but I am a great Karen. So I complained about the bill of me switching over, and they gave me a $20 a month discount for the next year. So I got a bunch of money off, plus the discounts for the new stuff. So yeah, you just gotta be a Karen.
I love that so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got something here. It said, "What rescue med makes you the least groggy?" I had to use my alprazolam at work towards the end of my shift. All I remember is clocking out, buying food, and getting picked up by my boyfriend. Got home and fell asleep for 16 hours. My coworker said I looked strung out on the alprazolam at the end. I believe it because it does stop the seizure, but holy shit, does it make me so out of it. I can only compare it to feeling drunk, but not in a giggly way, just cutscene recollection. Also, it was very low dose of it. In case anyone thinks it just a high dose, it's the lowest I can go that stops the seizure. I desperately need something that doesn't incapacitate me like that one. I overslept for work today as well, which I never did. Which rescue med is the least groggy? I never taken any because I was never able to give it to myself during or after a seizure. You guys have people there. How's that? And how does that work? You guys groggy afterwards?
This person is taking it at work, so they're probably using it for daily maintenance, I guess. So what I do, maybe cut this. I actually like fresh mine up and just take a little bit. So I don't actually think you I don't need that much every day, whatever they give me. I think it's 1 milligram or 5.5. Yeah, I just do as little as possible, and I think it's good to find where that is. And then you'll be less groggy.
I I used to take lorazepam, and I actually still have a prescription for it, but I don't take it. Only 2 milligrams. And that's not a lot. I don't remember it making me groggy, but like I said, I used to have a ton of energy. I used to be really wired, and I don't think 2 milligrams of lorazepam would slow me down. So no. So the answer to the question is no.
Angel?
I took the Clonopin dissolvable ones, and they didn't make me feel groggy at all. I could go on without it. Like everything would stop. But yeah,
Any other
And
rescue meds you
the
have?
initial question, were they talking about alprazolam?
Yeah.
Alprazolam? Oh, okay, so that's Xanax.
Oh.
That's what I'm seeing here. Alprazolam is Xanax, so that's what was confusing me. I didn't know if they were actually talking about like a seizure med or alprazolam is Xanax, but some
yeah.
people still take that. Yeah.
She said she was
Yeah.
I
working out
read
of it.
something called clobazam that's supposed to be like less addictive, and I don't know about sleepy. Does anybody take that?
I do.
It's a benzo.
Yeah, they're all benzos,
Yeah.
Xanax, lorazepam. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's nasal, which is mitozole or something like that.
Midalazam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Xanax, I don't know. Do they? I've only had that once from a neurologist. Do they still give that to people with epilepsy? Is
I
that?
hope not.
Yeah. I mean, it is fast acting. And that's why the doctor gave it to me, but he forgot to tell me that that bar that has the 3 lines on it, you're supposed to break it up and not take the whole thing at once. And it just said take 1 tablet, so I took 1 tablet, which really was 4. And I was like, no, I'm not taking.
Night.
Yeah, but it was fast. It was fast. That's the problem. It was like a warp speed benzodiazepine, at least to me.
Okay. Well, that puts it in perspective because it sounds like they do still prescribe it to epileptics, but it's not for the epilepsy, it's for the anxiety, and it's definitely not viewed as a long-term seizure control.
Yeah.
Apparently, maybe it's just a first try fix it if somebody's so stressed and having multiple panic or anxiety attacks.
I don't know. It's tough to get from what I understood. But I mean, I would love to have it on hand. But not really because the effect. I'm just like it literally is a warp speed. Just yeah. It knocks me right out.
Sailor Mom, you there? I know she has some rescue meds. She talked about taking quite a few. I had nasalium. I never took it. Because like I said, you gotta have someone do it for you. Yeah. But I got something else here. Oh man.
Okay, I've done nasalium for myself.
You did nasalium to yourself?
Yeah. You just hold it up your nose, all the way up your nose, like a nose spray, and push the plunger. It's simple.
Well, I mean, when you're down the street or downstairs.
I'm not doing it. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I'm
Never
not
not.
where I left, where I was at when I started.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
when you
I forgot
go
about
down
that.
the
You're
block or
wandering.
something,
Yeah,
you don't have nasally when I'm down the street.
that killed me.
Yeah, yeah, this is a big one. So you guys got to pay attention.
I will focus.
It's too much. Anyway, it says, found out in my late 20s I had childhood epilepsy during sleep. I try to keep this as short as possible since I have trouble staying consistent when writing longer texts, especially in English. This mostly only scratches the surface of my problem, but here it goes. I've always had trouble in school, sports, and later in life in general at pretty much everything. That's assumed by society. You can handle by yourself with moderate ease, at least. Ever since I started school, I always came home empty handed, knowing nothing of what had been taught during classes. My parents made extreme effort to push me to learn and making me think it's the same for everyone else. I knew it wasn't. In sports, I was in my own world. I played soccer from age 5, and I actually don't remember this myself, but my dad had to shout out instructions from the sidelines on where to run and what to do in general. I see this similarity in multiplayer video games. I'm like a headless chicken. No matter how good my mechanics are, the best way I can describe it is it's like I'm completely distracted from things happening outside of my own thoughts, and that little pinpoint of my concentration, it's like tunnel vision. The point is, I've had many problems my whole life that completely escalated around the time I turned 18. Right when I should have started to take more responsibility of my own life, I had fallen behind in school, decided to drop out, and got really depressed. Seemed like I wasn't suited for normal life. I couldn't tell what's wrong and definitely couldn't word it out because everything was a mess, and my whole life I had been told try more. Fast forward 14 years later, I'm currently 32 and feels like nothing's gotten better. It feels like every single time I seek for help, I get treated for consequences and not the root of the problem, whatever it is. I have been treated for depression, ADHD, panic disorder, and everything in between. I've had maximum doses of every legal ADHD medicine in my country, but it's like taking vitamin pills. I feel nothing. I've always been the odd one out and had my own way of socializing that came up when monitoring other people. At core, I have low self-esteem and I can't deal with failure too well. My memory doesn't work. I have no memories whatsoever. I can't even tell what I did yesterday or the day before. I can't remember conversations, not even the ones that are interesting to me. Heck, I can't even most of the time remember I've had a conversation at all. Everything's a blur and it feels like I'm absent in my own life and trapped to the life of what's happening right now. And even then, not so much. It's hard knowing all these memories I should have. I can never visit again. I don't use any drugs or alcohol. I eat clean, take supplements, go to the gym 5 times a week, and in general, take care of myself. And I don't feel like I'm depressed, just desperate to find these obstacles in front of me time to time. Now, for epilepsy part, I have no memories of this time, so it's all from the relatives now. I never knew I had epilepsy diagnosis until a few years back when my dad started talking about me losing my ability to speak when I was 2 years old. My mother later told me that I had learned to speak basic sentences when I was about 11 months old, but at 2 years old, I suddenly, in a flash, completely lost my ability to speak. EEG showed that I had epileptic activity during my sleep and ate some unknown medicine until 7 years old when I started school. That sounded weird to me since you would think having the nightly seizures untreated would affect the brain, especially when the brain is developing, but what do I know? It was, after all, a neurologist who decided against continuing the medication. This leads me to thinking, could this epilepsy be a completely mystery to me be the root of something, of my lifelong problems, and why was nobody picking up my severe learning deficit and maybe connected the dots to epilepsy that was just treated literally a year ago before that was treated literally a year before I started school. Problem is, not even the mental health experts could have known about the epilepsy when treating me in my adulthood because of the files being pre-internet age and not available readily. So basically, I've had epilepsy, but I've been living without knowing I've had one. Sorry if this came off as a mess. Advice, you guys? That was a lot.
Yeah, that was amazing that you read all of that. Like, hats off. I don't know how you did that. I hope you are eating. I put a summary of it from ChatGPT into the chat if you guys are like me, had trouble following the actual post. But what I got from this was he had childhood epilepsy. Probably he didn't know much about it. He was very young. He was medicated until 7 and then never told, like, throughout his life what happened. And they took him off of meds when he was 7. So all this time, what I got was he's probably having seizures and doesn't know, because I think people with childhood epilepsies continue to have them. They're just not checked for them because it's an idea that they stop. So what I'm interested in is like Annie and anybody who and anybody who, maybe somebody can help me out here. Anybody who had their medical agency taken away. Yeah, because I do believe that my ADHD is really epilepsy.
Yeah, or PTSD. Just throwing that in there.
Oh, they do diagnose it that young? He said he stopped talking at 2, right?
Yeah, stop talking at 2 years old.
He was diagnosed at 2 and then medicated until 7 and then stopped being medicated. He wasn't really aware because he was young. And also his parents didn't tell him much about it.
So that's not a good place to start for a practitioner when you're already an adult, not letting them know of pre-existing. The part that stood out to me was that he had basic sentences at 11 months. That was impressive. And then stopped, seemingly regressing. Oh, that once doctors put that label on a child's chart, I can't stand that.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Like, I think a lot of kids are not having developmental disorders. They just need treatment for things like epilepsy or neurological or PTSD.
Or not everybody talks at 2 fucking years old. You get the vibe they're saying that about my boy right now? Yeah. They're thinking he should have about 1,000 words, give or take. He gets it. He knows it. But, he could say Audi and BMW and fucking Rolls Royce for some reason, but, he doesn't put it all together, that's all. Oh, he wanna be. He love YouTube.
Like, what is the standard of what kids are supposed to do? Like, you're caring for your kid. He's doing well. He's being loved. What the fuck is this standard? Like, it's such fucking bullshit. And it's all based on psychology studies from the 50s that were just all wrong and based on, like, poverty versus wealth.
Good old American dream.
Okay, so this I suggested to talk about. Let's try to remember.
Jeff is after you.
Oh, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry, I can't see hands.
Those studies weren't wrong. They were based on how life was in the 50s, which has changed quite a bit from now. So with what doctors, scientists, researchers knew in the 50s is quite less than what they know today. I feel I have to defend old people all the time. And you said something else, but I forget. So go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to judge the knowledge base of earlier treatments based on our current expertise. I mean, yeah, like Jeff said, it's completely unfair, and these standards, specifically the psychological standards for all of these diagnoses, are updated on a very regular basis. The DSM was just updated back in, I think, 2014, from the DSM-4 to the DSM-5, and I think it was further revised again since then. And the conditions of the past are not, non-existent currently. A lot of these more, backwards, barbaric type of things that, or what we would consider backwards, barbaric right now. I mean, we know now what we do because of what was being done then, and finding out that that doesn't work, and working more, and patients speaking up. You know, uh, we can't expect the next revision of the DSM to be any better if we don't, explain and
Does
speak
the
out.
DSM you're referring to only apply to mental disorders, right? It's also it's
Yeah,
psychiatric,
it's
not the physical ones?
psychological. Yeah, it's I
Like,
mean, the
okay, that's what I
diagnoses
wanted to make sure.
of like childhood conditions and stuff like um, these change as we learn more. And, you know, I think having these sort of discussions are good. Um, and I think that we need to take the sort of knowledge that we're synthesizing together here to all of our various practitioners, and educate them, let them know what's up here, and help to build moving forward, because come what, 50 years from now, 2080, we're going to be judged pretty harshly, possibly. And I don't know. It's
Would you ever get behind just saying,
it's
blanket statement like not supporting the DSM? I saw that genius
I'm
statement in the chat. Not supporting the DSM, approaching all psychological care for juveniles and adults as an individualized approach rather than any kind of blanket diagnosis based on, 3 or 4 factors or whatever kind of algorithm they use
DSM
in the DSM.
is the manual for what these conditions are. It's not scripture or a mandate for how they be applied and treated. That really still comes down to the individual practitioners, the doctors. They're the ones who take this, set of symptoms and say, okay, this person fits it or doesn't, but it's, I don't know, it's not always easy to define, the border between one thing and another thing.
It's just a
And
bitch when the
that
insurance company takes
includes
advantage of that.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying it's pain in the ass when the insurance company takes advantage of that by saying, we're not going to cover this because according to the DSM, this isn't accurate, or they can go the flip side and say according to the DSM this probably is psychological and not physical.
Can I just jump in and say I support everything that Jeff and Mark said, and Annie too, even though she is expressing that the DSM has not been good for a lot of people. And also to Jeff, I completely agree with you. I was a psychology major, and I only say that in response to Kate talking about her family and how her son is being judged. But I don't mean to be condescending towards people in the past. And what I'm saying is actually based on, in the 2010s, just the revisions to some of those studies and updating how they were performed. And a lot of them, I can send you guys more information. I don't want to keep going on. A lot of them were based on boys, and poor people and people in the middle class were judged on the same level, and that has led to a lot of updating. And the point of psychology is to be constantly updating itself. And I agree, Annie, a lot of the studies now are being reevaluated, but it's such a mess, with insurance. But psychology is very friendly to women, so I think it's ultimately good. But once fucking capitalism gets involved, man, good luck.
But I think again, the capitalism, that comes down to the individual. So
Yeah. My therapist uses the DSM for coding. That's all.
Understood. So the next one, you see here, it looks like there's still a lot of rants and just trouble about accepting diagnosis. People are having a hard time, like a lot of these new patients making adjustments of not going to the gym or not doing the same physical activities as before. Has anybody here kind of picked up something else to put their energy into that feels like there is still exercise and just not as dangerous?
I recommend
Other than this,
just anybody's hands. I'm sorry. Look up Indian epilepsy yoga. That's all.
other than this,
I'm talking about physical exercise, not just mental stimulation here.
oh,
I
Yeah,
guess
that
wouldn't that depend on how severe your epilepsy is? I don't know your condition or not. I know the condition. I don't know the types of seizures you have, but uh, I always loved the swimming, and I always and I at different points in my life, I had trouble accepting it, and right now I'm having a real difficult time with it, and finding exercise is a little difficult, and yeah, I'm trying to join like a tennis club or something. I really enjoy tennis. I'm a really good tennis player. So yeah, I mean there's plenty of, you know, sports clubs and stuff like that. Go out, meet people. It's yeah, that's a good suggestion. So but you do have to put in some effort, and it's not that hard necessarily. I mean, and
except that you are going to make changes, but you don't have to give up like
Right.
your favorite part of, you know, those workouts don't have to go away. They just have to change.
Yes.
Kevin, do you feel comfortable like still swimming, but just in a supervised setting?
Yes. Actually, I haven't gone swimming in a long time because um, just because I had a pool out there, but it broke. Um, long story. So yeah, I'm really sad about that. But yeah, I love the water. But yes, to answer your question, I did swim for a long time, even when I had active seizures, because I knew my body rhythm. Like I never had seizures like after 6 o'clock or like when I was in cool water. I don't know. Like I just had a feeling. I knew when the really bad seizures were coming. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of I haven't gone swimming since I got the diagnosis, but I mean living in Florida, it's hard to give up
Oh,
swimming, and my niece and nephew are gonna be coming and visiting and are gonna have like a 2 night sleepover, and the pool here at the house is kind of a big draw, and I don't know if I'm kind of trying to gauge whether I should participate and to what degree.
well, I imagine
Well,
if
how
there's a
old are they?
lifeguard.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they're old enough to look out, or if there is a lifeguard or somebody there to
Oh no, they're
oversee.
they're like 5 and 7, but my family
Oh,
will be
okay.
here. My sister and my father will both be able-bodied people
Okay.
here. Um,
All right,
Well,
go for a
good.
cannonball.
Yeah.
yeah, nice. Yeah, that's reassuring. Thank you.
Cannonball for me, one time.
We're at the
So
senior citizen community now. I know there's lots of these in Florida, so no lifeguards here, but they've I'm sure had to deal with some incidents at the pool, and they're usually not that deep, but you're not far from being discovered. Basically, that's my only reassurance about pools in Florida, especially if you're in one of those community pools.
got something here. It says how to sidestep Kepler rage. My son, he's 8, diagnosed in March, and has been on Keppra ever since. It's been effective in preventing further seizures, but he's getting progressively more irritable and depressed. Our neurologist is on vacation, and we have a follow-up scheduled upon his return. We're also on the waiting list to move this appointment sooner. But in the meantime, does anyone have any tips on how to gray rock or otherwise sidestep ridiculous conflicts with him that are causing him further stress? Arguments are popping up from many benign situations and are making no sense. Unfortunately, he's also expressing that our lives would probably be easier without him, which has us quite alarmed. And he's 8, so um, for my kids,
8 years old.
8 years is really young to be expressing that type of sentiment. That's that's a reason to switch meds, I think, just alone. Anger, anger is another thing, but suicidal thoughts or even any degree of depression at that age is red flags all over.
Now, I wonder, anybody who has juveniles with epilepsy, do they still see them every 3 months or so. That's something that always blew my mind, that starting a child on a medication, you wouldn't have a follow-up appointment like the next week, even if it's uh via
Telehealth.
yes, thank you. Even if it's one of those, um, you would want to stay on top of it, not just call me if you have a problem.
I think that it should be a goal to get some parents who have kids with epilepsy on here. I've had a few really good conversations with them and like their advocacy, and I would love to hear from them. So goal for the upcoming Zooms.
Oh, I'm not gonna let up on that kid from Illinois, that Baker, Brandon, something. Yeah, I got all his name in here. I know his last name's Brown. We're gonna see. He was diagnosed at 15 and total advocate, and his parents were backing him. They had him on the news. Yeah, that's a celebrity. I'd rather him than the social influencer personally. you know, I'm not gonna downplay like success in fashion or beauty, but children are just always so much more impressive.
The word influencer is very triggering if you're over a certain age, I think, at least for me.
That could be it.
Any advice for this lady, you guys? You only get like one or two.
Get off
Get
the
him off the
Keppra.
meds.
Yeah, get him off the Keppra. That is, I totally agree with Mark and Kate. Like, that is so awful, and this parent is just trying to navigate helping their child, and that is so hard. So I think they probably need to hear "Get off the Keppra." What do you
Not to
think,
mention
Sailor?
get a new doctor.
Get off the Keppra and get a second opinion.
I guess for
Yeah.
now, if your child is on Capra and you have to deal with it right now, I just watch out and just constantly watch them. If they are suicidal, they're saying these things, you gotta just constantly supervise them and know that this is not them, this is the drug making them go crazy.
Right.
And my mom had excellent patience with me. She's a good person and gave me more than I deserved. So yeah, when I was on Capra especially. Just be very patient.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's not as simple as changing doctors on Medicaid, especially for pediatricians. They give a big problem about seeing another pediatrician on Medicaid. They get that out holding my breath on whether we're gonna get a bill from the physical being with the NP. So yeah, that can be issue. What's up, Benny?
Yeah, my battery is running low. Plus, I've got some lorazepam kicking in, so I'm gonna have to cut out for a while. I'll charge up and then I'll check in and see if you guys are still here. But
Come on, you
yeah,
see Jason? Just chill.
yeah.
Lay
Well,
back.
yeah, I gotta plug in and then and then I'll come back. All right, you guys. I'll see you soon.
All right, Andy.
Love you guys.
Nanny, we love you
Love
too.
you.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.